Hello and welcome to the Instant Impact Diversity Hub. Recruitment is one of the biggest areas to drive diversity in your business. Without hiring new talent in the first place, it's going to be very difficult to really affect change. Instant Impact are internal recruitment experts, and we implement a three-part methodology to drive diversity for all of our clients. So the first part is influencing internally. Number 2 is attracting a diverse pool of candidates. And number 3 is ensuring that your selection process offers equal opportunities for all candidates. You cannot have a truly diversity-centric recruitment process without all three of these working in harmony together. This video, the second in our series after the introduction Felix gave in the first video, will focus on the first step, how to influence internally. So before making any changes in HR or recruitment, it's first critical to get the buy-in of the wider business. We'll be going through 3 core components of that today. The crux of the issue here is that there's no point in presenting a stream of diverse candidates at interview if your hiring managers aren't fully on board. Likewise, there's no point in hiring people from lots of different backgrounds if you don't have an inclusive and welcoming environment for them to be able to work in. The strategies that we run through in this video series require a real mindset shift. For them to work, you need buy-in throughout the organization, and that's starting at the very top. As the old saying in technology goes, nobody gets fired for buying IBM. And the same can often be true with hiring. It's the safer option to stick with what you've always known. I'm sure you can already hear one of your hiring managers saying, "Why would I hire someone who doesn't have a degree instead of the Oxbridge graduates that have always worked so well for us?" So it's our job as leaders within HR to challenge that traditional thinking and to educate the people around us that a diversity-centric recruitment approach isn't about diversity for diversity's sake. It's about hiring the best quality talent and not being blinded by the background and privilege that some of us are blessed with as we grow up and in our early careers. So the first step is to get senior leadership buy-in. So from our survey of HR professionals in late June, you can see that only 30% of respondents felt that their board were taking diversity seriously or very seriously. So clearly there really is a lot of work to do in this area. To get your leadership team to start taking diversity more seriously, we recommend starting by building your case for change. You will probably be best placed to do that after watching all of our Diversity Hub resources, but we thought it would be helpful to outline how we'd approach that so that you can keep it in mind as you go through and watch each video. So firstly, with your senior leaders, give them the background as to why it's important, not just because it's the right thing to do, but also because it's the best thing for the business. That's because it will help to attract the best talent, it will help to win new clients. So RFPs and tenders are increasingly asking about the diversity of suppliers' organizations. So this could be a particularly important point if you do a lot of work with FTSE 100 companies, for example, or public sector. And also to make sure that you don't lose ground on the competition. Then make it more specific to your organization and situation. So outline the current diversity within your business and use data wherever you can to really land your point. And give examples of what competitors are already doing, as again, this will really help you make your point. When you've got a bit of traction, you can then set the parameters for this improvement project. Make it clear that you won't compromise on quality. Make it clear that you're still focusing on attracting the very best talent. Make it clear that you want the assessment process to be just as rigorous or almost more rigorous than it currently is. And make it clear that the result you're working towards is diversity of background, diversity of thought, and diversity of opportunities for your business. Hopefully that should give you the buy-in or start the improvement project. But before you're ready to make wholesale change, there are some internal groups as well that you really need to engage. So you then need to also get hiring managers, directors, and the wider organization on side. So many of the points that you've made to the leadership team will still be relevant here, but there are some nuanced changes to the messaging that will really help you to get their buy-in as well. So for hiring managers, make it clear that you're not going to be demanding much more of their time, nor will you be increasing the time it takes to hire top talent, and you won't be forcing them to make any hiring decisions that aren't in the best interest of the business. Those might sound like very big promises, especially when you've been through our recommendations for attraction and selection of talent. However, if you have a high-performing internal recruitment function, they should be very achievable. Ask more of your internal recruitment team and make them accountable for improving diversity. They should take any additional work that process changes bring, rather than passing it on to their hiring managers. For the wider business, make it clear that you're not just focusing on new joiners and that these changes form part of a wider focus on inclusion to make sure that your company is a great business to work for, regardless of anyone's background. And give them opportunities to get involved in the project if it's something that they really feel passionately about. Once you have the wider business on board and have started to make the changes that we'll cover in the further videos, you'll need to make sure that those changes are followed, whether they're to the attraction or the selection process. Having a recruitment process designed to drive diverse applicants won't make any difference if your hiring managers don't follow it. You will need to continually communicate with the leadership, your hiring managers, and the wider business to ensure that bad habits don't prevail. Having proposed big changes and got their buy-in, the leadership will want to know the results and make sure that there has been no unintended negative impacts ranging from quality of hire to speed of hire or candidate experience. Your hiring managers will need to be on side so that they don't just revert to using recruitment agencies or hiring from their existing networks. And the wider organisation needs to know that diversity and inclusion wasn't just a fad for your business. So there are 3 types of continual communication that we really recommend and have seen to be really successful with our clients. So firstly, reporting. Gather high quality data on both the performance of your internal recruitment function, as well as the impact that your changes are having on diversity. Number 2 is continual education. Make sure that all relevant stakeholders are aware of the changes to the recruitment process and why they've been introduced as well. We recommend having a training program for anyone involved in the hiring process. We'll come on to bias in the video on diversity-centric assessment, and we'll explain that it's not possible to train people out of unconscious bias, but it is certainly possible to make them aware that it exists. And we would recommend unconscious bias training as part of your hiring manager training program. And finally, make sure to celebrate successes as you continually strive to improve things. The quest to be a diversity and inclusion-centric business is never complete, and it's our role to make sure that it is always staying front of mind. That concludes our advice on influencing internally. So to conclude, we covered the mindset shift that's needed to change to a diversity-centric recruitment process. We covered how to influence different stakeholders. And finally, the continual communication that's required to continue your journey to improve diversity and inclusion within your business. That's hopefully given you a useful structure for how you want to approach the change internally. We hope you're now really excited to explore the change with the remaining resources on the Diversity Hub. We recommend that you now review the other 2 components of the instant impact methodology for driving diversity through recruitment, attraction and selection. If you have any questions or feedback, or if there's anything that we can help you with, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks for watching this video on influencing internally. We hope that you'll have taken away a few key points from it, and this will really help your business to become more diverse and inclusive.